local news leader. Voted Best Newscast by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters. This is NBC 10 News Today.
Right now, we're taking a look at local recovery efforts after Hurricane Delta ripped through the state. Plus,
Judge Amy Coney Barrett up for her Supreme Court confirmation hearing today. I'm Tracy Potts. Coming up, we got to look at her opening statement, what she says and what she doesn't say the Democrats plan to ask her about.
good morning, everyone, and thank you for waking up with us here on NBC 10 News Today. I'm Anna McAllister. And Lexi, another national day I wanted to mention is National Farmers Day.
Oh, shout out to all the farmers out there.
Got to shout out all those farmers out there for sure. And I wanted to ask you if they wanted to go outside, maybe check on their crops today, what would the weather like be for them?
Well, it's definitely going to be not rainy, which is a good sign. You know, I think we're pretty much done with rainfall for a good chunk of the week. It's actually going to be rather sunny, but we are anticipating a cold front to move in later this afternoon, which may make things a little bit breezy, but not as breezy as we did see when Delta moved through. Live storm tracker Doppler radar starting off nice and dry this morning. And just another heads up, some of us are starting off with some patchy fog, so if you're going to be hitting the roads anytime soon, just remember to exercise caution. But overall, it's going to be a great day. Plenty of sunshine with high temperatures topping into the middle to upper 80s. That's your forecast first.
Many people across the Arklamis are still without power this morning following Hurricane Delta. That's why power companies from all over are here working all hours of the day to turn the lights back on. NBC 10's Isabel Albritton is live outside the West Monroe's Ike Hamilton Expo Center. Isabel, good morning. It looks like that parking lot is once again filled with utility trucks this morning.
Good morning, Anna. Well, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of trucks out here on standby to help those who are still in the dark. Now, one area that got hit hard during this weekend storm was Morehouse Parish. So I went out and I caught up with a few folks out in Bastrop who tell me they are still dealing with power outages in their neighborhood.
Hurricane Delta made its way through Morehouse Parish early Saturday morning. Larry W. says he could hear the treetops around his home being blown around throughout the night.
The pine trees, they were bowed over pretty good. You could see the swirling and all of the wind, and you could even hear some of the cracking of the branches and different things.
W says once Delta passed, he drove around town to see the aftermath for himself.
There's a lot of big trees down, a lot of oak trees all over, some on some housing. My parents' house actually had one that fell right beside them, a big, probably 3-foot diameter oak tree.
He says Delta took out multiple power lines, including a few in his neighborhood, one hanging across the road about 4 feet off the ground. W says the power outage, of course, caused roads to be pitch black, making things difficult for drivers.
It had to be between 30 and 40. You have to turn around in my driveway and go back.
Utility companies have come by to check out the damage. Greg Martin with Atmos Energy says they've seen more damage from Hurricane Delta than Laura.
It's just unreal to see the houses, the trees are on, the vehicles, and all the people that's without energy. We're out locating gas lines on emergency line locates so the energy can replace the broken poles. So we are just hard at it, and people just need to be patient.
Martin says they're working as quickly as possible to locate all of the gas lines to allow energy to go in and start on those repairs. Meanwhile, W says he doesn't know how long it's going to be before the power turns back on, but for right now they're using a generator to power up his home. Anna.
One thing about the generator, Isabel, it's important to remember safety with that. We do know that one man has died after Hurricane Delta struck his area, and something with the generator actually caught fire in a shed that he was at. So definitely keeping in mind that generator safety for sure. Thank you, Isabel. And following Hurricane Delta, people are coming together to help the community any way they can. Residents in Grant Parish gave out water, soap, and other needed supplies. They also set up shop at a local park to give out free food and school supplies for kids. The Louisiana National Guard also stepping in to help, handing out ice water and MREs at a local church. Staff Sergeant John Loomis says it's all about being there for the community and helping out those who are still recovering from Laura and now Delta.
You get all sorts of stories, and you get a lot of former veterans come through and, you know, really thank us for their service. And it's a overwhelming feeling sometimes to, you know, actually provide for this state and this parish and help these people out.
Everything is being done in a drive-through style setting, so you don't have to get out of your car. And a search and rescue team from Miami shows others what recovery efforts from Hurricane Delta look like here in the state. FEMA's Florida Task Force 2 took pictures and videos while helping Lake Charles firefighters. Hurricane Delta moved over the area, leaving widespread flooding and downing trees and power lines. This is the second blow to the area in just a matter of weeks, with Hurricane Laura damaging nearly every home and business in the town in late August. The Florida Search and Rescue team went around Lake Charles in a boat looking for anyone who might need help. And now for the latest on the Supreme Court showdown in Washington. It begins today. The confirmation hearing for Judge Amy Coney Barrett is happening this morning. Tracy Potts tells us who will be there in person and who's going to join remotely. Good morning, Tracy.
Anna, good morning, everyone. We got to look at the opening statement for Judge Barrett today. She talks about her family, her experience, her views of the law, but not her religious views.
Thank you very much, Ms.
In her opening statement, Judge Amy Coney Barrett says a judge must apply the law as it is written, not as the judge wishes it were, even if that means they don't like the results. Lawmakers plan to question her on the Affordable Care Act. The Supreme Court hears that case 1 week after the election.
She is being sent on assignment to the Supreme Court by President Trump, and we know what that assignment is: eliminate the Affordable Care Act.
Democrats are asking the Justice Department for what's missing from her application, a 2006 letter opposing women's reproductive rights.
A vote for Judge Barrett is very simple. It's a vote to take health care away from 20 million Americans. It's a vote to strip protections.
Judge Barrett is expected to attend in person. At least 4 lawmakers will appear virtually. One tested positive. Others, including Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris, are concerned about the lack of precautions.
We've managed to have hearings for months in a way that has been safe and has protected everyone's safety. The delay tactics of the Democrats aren't going to work.
President Trump is back on the campaign trail today with a rally in Florida declaring himself COVID-free.
Yes, and not only that, it seems like I'm immune.
The president has been cleared by his doctor, who did not say if the president tested negative for the virus.
He'll receive another dose.
So it looks like the president's back to a full campaign schedule this week, with the rally in Florida today and events in Pennsylvania tomorrow and Iowa on Wednesday. I'm Tracy Potts, NBC 10, your local news leader. Anna?
Tracy, thank you. And Twitter flags a tweet from President Trump in which he declared himself immune from coronavirus. Sunday, the president tweeted that he had gotten a, quote, total and complete sign-off from White House doctors. He wrote he could not get the virus, followed by the word immune in parentheses. Twitter says the tweet violated the company's rules about spreading misleading and potentially harmful information related to COVID-19. However, Twitter determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain accessible. The president's tweet comes after his physician, Dr. Sean Conley, said the president is no longer at risk of transmitting the coronavirus. Dr. Conley did not say when Trump last received a negative coronavirus test. And across the nation, police declared a riot in downtown Portland, Oregon last night after a group of demonstrators marched and toppled statues of Abraham Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt. The protest began as a march calling for an end of colonialism and the abolishment of police. But the march quickly turned when protesters focused on damaging several businesses, including the Oregon Historical Society, where windows and glass doors were shattered. Several statues were also spray painted and knocked over, including statues of President Theodore Roosevelt and President Abraham Lincoln. Eventually, police were able to disperse the large crowd. There's no word if any arrests were made. And even a pandemic couldn't stop Lakers fans from pouring into the streets of Los Angeles. The team won its first NBA championship in 10 years, and even though fans were told to stay away from the Staples Center due to coronavirus restrictions, many showed up cheering, screaming, and running through the streets. The Lakers beat the Miami Heat 106-93 to win the NBA Finals in Game 6. And taking a look at some coronavirus news now. It's Monday, and if you're already feeling drained and dreading work, well, you're not alone. More than 1/3 of workers surveyed said they're more burned out on the job today compared to a year ago. That's according to a new study released by staffing firm Robert Half. And those respondents, 30% points to having fuller plate of work at this top reason for rising levels of fatigue. Another 45% of professionals noted they're as burned out as they were 12 months ago. Only 21% reported a drop in burnout. And according to Expedia, most Americans reached their tripping point less than 30 days into the coronavirus lockdowns. The tripping point is defined as the intense need for a break from the routine. It's the moment when day-to-day responsibilities become too much and result in a desperate need for a change of scenery. 80% said they reached their tripping point, and the biggest need was to get out of the house and find a change of scenery. Behind that was a need for some alone time and wanting to see friends and family in another location. And coming up next on NBC 10 News today, we're taking a look at the LSU Tigers' strengths and their weaknesses. Specifically, we're hearing from Coach O on their offensive line after the break. But first, here's Lexi with a look at your forecast.
Well, looks like our temperatures will be staying nice and warm over the next several days, and we are tracking multiple fronts to move in throughout the duration of the week. Rain chances are looking to be very limited, and we could very well be seeing a cool blast on the way by the end of this week and into the weekend. We're going to have all the details coming up in your complete forecast after Go Nation. You're watching NBC 10 News today.
And now, your Go Nation report, sponsored by Legacy of Farmerville.
LSU's offensive line didn't give up a sack against Vanderbilt, much better than the 7 they allowed against Mississippi State. But Coach O credits quarterback Miles Brennan's pocket awareness. They even gave him a little bit of tape on Drew Brees to help him out.
He worked all week on stepping up in the pocket, not scrambling to his right like he usually wants to. Once he feels pressure, sliding up in the pocket. I made him a little cut up myself for Drew Brees. I don't know if that worked or not, but I know he studied it. But I think we worked very hard on him staying in the pocket, stepping up, and making the right throw, and then let it rip.
He moved up more quicker. So when he would drop back, first weekend, he would let it get too close, and it's almost too late by then. The second game, once they came, he saw it, and he escaped first, and then he bought himself more time looking down the field and making those easy throws downfield for completions.
The pocket Brennan stepped up in didn't have starting left tackle Derek Rosenthal. Backup Cam Wire was up to the challenge, and his performance on the field impressed Coach O.
I thought that he was very good in his protection, could finish his run blocks a little bit better. We were really worried about their defensive line. They had an excellent pass rush. We didn't have to give him as much help as we thought we had to as far as chipping or sliding his way. I thought he handled that guy pretty good, very mature. You know, Cam has been in our program for a while, has gained weight, got bigger and stronger. I'm very proud of him.
Covering LSU football for your Go Nation, I'm Jared Joseph.
Live Storm Tracker Doppler radar, sponsored by bankruptcy attorney E. Orem Young. Now, your local weather with meteorologist Lexi Birmingham.
The time now is 6:48, coming up on 6:49 this Monday morning. And again, just a heads up, if you're going to be heading outdoors and hitting the roads anytime soon, we are waking up to some patchy fog, and we can see that in El Dorado. So let's go ahead and take a look at those visibilities real quick. Only a 4-mile visibility in El Dorado, only 2 in Camden, 4 in Monticello, and looking pretty foggy as you get closer to the Louisiana-Mississippi state line. So again, if you are going to be hitting the roads, just remember to exercise a little extra caution out on the roadways. Temperatures this morning starting off nice and warm. We're seeing 68 in Camden, 69 in Greenville, but 73 here in Monroe, 71 in Vicksburg and Natchitoches, and 73 for folks off towards the west in Shreveport. Live Storm Tracker Doppler radar showing you that we are dry across the Arklamas, so really it's going to be all about those temperatures for today. Now, we are going to be starting off with a little bit of cloud cover, but we are anticipating a cold front to move in that's going to be bringing another shot of cooler air by the time we reach the evening hours, but still going to be a warm day ahead as those temperatures top out out in the middle to upper 80s. We'll stay clear overnight tonight as those winds continue out of the north, dropping our temperatures back down into the middle to upper 50s, only to warm back up into the upper 70s to lower 80s heading into Tuesday afternoon. We are expected to see this similar pattern heading into our Wednesday, and then an even stronger cold front is expected by Thursday. That's really going to bring another blast of cooler air to us here in the Arklamas. And of course, we're still about a month and a half left in the hurricane season, and it looks like things are still going out in the open Atlantic. Here's our tropical wave that has about a 30% chance of development over the next several days. Really nothing too much to talk about it with this system because, again, days out and it's still kind of in its startup days. But as of right now, no immediate impacts to the U.S., so there's some good news. 86 degrees is on the board for today. We'll start off with some cloud cover, then it will clear up by later this afternoon with that cold front, with winds breezy anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then we will settle back into the middle to upper 50s overnight tonight as the cool air behind that cold front settles in, and also a high pressure system will remain in control to keep our skies nice and clear with winds out of the north. 7-day forecast shows that we will see a little bit of a cool down with our high temperatures for Tuesday and Wednesday, with highs topping into the lower 80s. And then by Thursday, like we mentioned, we're expecting that stronger cold front to move in. Could bring a couple of showers, but I think what we're going to be seeing more of is a blast of cooler air. You'll notice that by Friday and the weekend, highs topping anywhere from the upper 60s to the lower 70s.
Lexi, thank you. We'll have your news on the go when we come back. But first, here's a look at what's happening on today.
Good morning, everybody. And coming up on the show this morning, with 22 days to go, the presidential race is intensifying. This morning, what the latest polls are showing, and we're live on Capitol Hill as confirmation hearings get underway for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett. Also ahead, are you considering flying for the holidays? What the airlines and the government are hoping to do in the coming weeks to make airplanes safer and flying more tempting. All that plus Amazon Prime Day begins tomorrow, the unofficial start of this year's holiday shopping season. And we've got an exclusive first look at some of its biggest deals and what other retailers are offering to compete when we see you on a Monday morning right here on Today.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Let's take a look at some of this morning's top headlines. Many people are still without power this morning as cleanup continues from Delta. Nearly 12,000 Arklamas Entergy customers are still in the dark following this weekend's past storms. Now, one area hit the hardest, Morehouse Parish. According to Entergy's outage map, the parish has more than 2,500 people without power. This follows dozens of trees toppled over, taking down power lines. And West Monroe police are looking for a man wanted in connection with a Saturday shooting in the 100 block of Montgomery Avenue. Police say this man, Xavier Quishon Ferrand of West Monroe, is one of the suspects. Detectives have obtained an arrest warrant for Ferrand for 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder. If you know where he is, you can call the West Monroe Police Department at 318-396-2722. And an El Dorado wig designer is giving back to her community through a group called Wigs for Love, in which they give wigs to women who are dealing with medical hair loss. Rakitha Hicks, owner of Melanin Collections, gave away a wig to 2 young mothers, Jasmine Carter, who's dealing with alopecia, and another mom who's fighting breast cancer. Hicks says this is the perfect way to show love to her community.
And the weather will be pleasant to start off the new work week, with highs getting up into the middle to upper 80s. We are tracking a dry cold front that's going to move in, and we really will feel the effects of the cool air starting later this evening and, of course, into Tuesday, with those highs topping in the lower 80s. And then an even stronger cold front could be anticipated on Thursday, with a much bigger cool down on the way, as we could see temperatures start off in the 60s and 70s heading into the weekend. And here's one last look at our forecast pet of the day. This is Ziva, giving a little side eye, but I think it's just Monday, so giving a little side eye to Monday, but super cute either way.
Ziva looking like a little diva, like, I don't want the week to
Ziva
start.
the diva.
Hey.
I'm pretty sure she's a good girl.
Yeah, of course, of course. She just wants the week to, go by, maybe go outside and play in the sunshine. We have more weather and news coming your way on Fox 14. Change the channel.